Hello, my name is Amber, and I have been raised by my trainer John ever since he adopted me a few years ago. At the time, I was just a baby Charmander, not bigger than a basketball. He gradually raised me into the powerful Charizard I am today, showing me compassion and love like no one else I've met. John showed me how to be a well-behaved and kind Pokemon, but something was eventually overlooked, perhaps just unexpected. There's an evening we were spending by the river. John was feeding me one of the fish he had caught for dinner. He allowed me to eat it straight from his hand. As my jaws came down to clamp on the fish, one of my fangs scraped against his palm. He jerked his hand away, dropping the fish. We both watched as his hand bled, him looking surprised, and I feeling shocked and quite sorry. But I could taste his blood in my mouth. And it tasted, well, very sweet, like rare candy. But this taste was far different. I let his blood sit in my mouth, its flavor very strong, almost intoxicating. I did not understand what was happening to me, but I felt an extreme sense of pleasure pulsing through my brain. John watched in confusion as the flame on my tail burned stronger, sensing my strange behavior. He didn't think much of it, cleaning his wound and bandaging his hand. He knew it had been an accident, and I wouldn't hurt him intentionally. John was my best friend. I could never harm him on purpose. That night, I lay awake for many hours in the cave by the river, remembering that taste I craved so deeply now. I felt as though it were calling me, growing uneasy and restless without it. A pounding headache slowly found its way inside my head. As John lay there unconscious in his sleeping bag, I stared at his peaceful body, an intense urge encouraging me to bite him again. I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. I couldn't do such a thing to the man who'd raised and loved me, but I was beginning to feel as though I needed to. Confused and exhausted, I forced myself to lie back down and gradually fell asleep. The next day, John sensed something was wrong during breakfast. He noticed I was constantly staring at his bandaged hand. I must have been in a daze. He had to shake me for a bit to help me regain my senses. In surprise and a jolted increase in my newfound urge, I instantly brought my teeth down on the hand shaking me out of my daydreaming. John looked a bit scared this time, knowing I had a problem. I felt guilty for biting him again, but part of me didn't care. I immediately felt all my anxiety and urges disappear as that sweet liquid flowed over my tongue once more. I closed my eyes, savoring the delicious taste before letting out a slow breath. When I opened my eyes, I saw John was digging through his backpack of Pokemon supplies. He rose to his feet, holding something metal. Turning to me, he murmured that he had been hoping he wouldn't have to use this. Commanding me to hold still, he took the metal device and attached it over my large jaws, constricting them firmly. With a sad look, he explained it was a muzzle, and that would prevent me from biting him again. I felt uncomfortable wearing this strange, unfamiliar device. It was unnatural and cold, but I knew I had brought this upon myself. I sulked away, dwelling in my guilt and frustration. I had never purposely attacked John like that before. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I wasn't myself. Something was taking control of my thoughts. I tried to distance myself from John for the rest of the day, not even able to look at him without the urge becoming stronger. He didn't understand what was happening to me, although I didn't quite either. The desire was infecting my mind, becoming all I could focus on. I feared that I might go mad. My arms trembled and shook with nervousness, my breath becoming short. A cold sweat ran down my face as the sun slowly fell and darkness lingered closer. I needed help, but no one except John was near this area. I wasn't sure if I could even be helped at this point, waves of anxiety crashing on my mind. As the moon crept up into the sky, it dawned on me I was becoming addicted to the taste of human blood. John went to sleep after making sure my muzzle was securely fastened, saying he would let off in the morning. As I watched him sleep again, I didn't feel I could wait that long. The distance between now and tomorrow felt like an eternity, one that I was suffering through without the sweet flavor I craved. As the black night continued, I began to crack, losing all self-control. My powerful jaws broke through the muzzle, constricting them. With a loud metallic noise, it snapped in half, cluttering against the ground. I feared the noise would wake John, but he lay still, breathing slowly as he slept. I immediately approached him and dragged his body out of his sleeping bag. He was drowsy and confused, but became terrified as he saw me looking at him in a way I never had before. I ignored his cries of agony and pleas for me to stop. As I devoured his feet, his hands pushed against my body and pounded against my neck as that overwhelming pleasure flooded back into my mind. More, my brain told me. I had to have more. So I continued to feast on his body until he was no more. All that remained was the broken muzzle and the sleeping bag soaked in blood. I felt completely at peace, without pain, without the urges haunting me.